were you watching Cops?
Yeah. Oh my God, we just became best friends.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I did a little bit of cardio before this. So I was on my spin bike, and yeah, but you know, got a little sweaty.
What do you do on the spin bike?
Pardon?
What do you do on the spin bike?
You know, I really mix it up to keep it interesting. But today I was doing like 10 seconds of like really pedaling with one leg, and then take a 5-second break, and then pedal 10 seconds hard with the other leg, and then recover for the rest of the minute. And so I was just doing like intervals of 10 seconds intense.
And how long did you do that for? That's got to be a good leg workout.
Yeah, got a nice pump. But I did like a 5-minute just steady pace warm up, and then I did that for, I think, like another 6 minutes, and then just a steady pace cool down. So all in all, it was like a 15-minute.
15 minutes and done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
Then I hopped into like a cold shower after, because I thought that would help.
With the sweatiness?
It doesn't help that it's really muggy here.
You're glistening. You're glistening.
Maybe we should just tie this up. But that's something else that actually we should talk about is like recovery practices. So like cold showers, Wim Hof methods, stuff like that.
Yeah. Recovery is big. That's big. A lot of people dismiss that. I know I did for a long time. But yeah, that's such a big factor, is how soon you can get back to optimal performance. And a lot of people, that's actually called overreaching, when you go back to training before you're fully recovered, or at least recovered to the point where you can do what we're going to talk about today, which is progressively overload, right?
Right.
And this is a concept that most people don't even consider in their training, which is progressive overload, or they think about it incorrectly, right? Right.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to cover today. We're talking about progressive overload. So what is it? Why is it important? And lots of other fun stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what would be your definition of progressive overload?
So, well, progressive overload, just listen to the name, is progressively overloading the muscle. So each time that you go to train, you are increasing either, various ways to further overload the system, because that's the way tissue adapts, right?
Right.
Tissue adapts when you give it a load, and then you stress the tissue, then the tissue is going to come back a little bit. It's going to respond to that stress, so it's going to come back a little bit stronger. Then you want to progressively overload it, so each time it's coming back a little stronger over time.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
And then I guess this obviously is what separates, a fitness program compared to fitness classes and stuff like that too. The benefits of, of working one-on-one with a trainer versus group fitness classes, do you think?
Yeah, I think in general, yeah, but I mean, if you can, I think we did a pretty good job of accomplishing this with Move Strong classes,
yes.
Right? So
yeah.
We actually followed programming. So
right.
It wasn't just show up and just, I see this with a lot of fitness classes. The majority of fitness classes just show up and just go hard at this for 30 seconds, and then go hard at this, and then do 10 of these, and then do 20 of this, or the timing of, do burpees for 1 minute over here, do push-ups for 1 minute over here. So how are you, let's assume that you're doing that. Are you measuring how many push-ups and burpees you're doing this time, and then are you doing more the next time, so that you are progressively overloading, so that you are forcing the body to adapt and continue to improve? It's really hard to track that yourself when you're in the moment, right? And then also, is there a measure of consistency? So are you measuring are you going the same range every single time you're doing that movement?
Right.
I don't know, pick a movement. So if it's like wall balls where you're throwing, are you measuring the height of the that you're throwing? Are you measuring how many reps you're doing? And then here's the other question: what happens when you plateau?
Right.
How do you push through that, right? So these are challenging things to do as a trainer, and super challenging to do in that group fitness environment, right?
Yes.
Although, you know, there are a lot of benefits I find to the group fitness environment, the training as a community, and the energy, and the accountability and all these things, which is why, again, with Move Strong, when we were doing classes, we're shut down obviously right now, but when we were doing classes, we had all that, plus we had programming, plus within that programming, everyone was assigned their own specific regression or progression.
Yes.
So they're constantly and consistently progressing, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a little bit different, I guess. So yeah, I was comparing it to the boot camp style of training. Because yeah, I remember Move Strong, which yeah, was a group fitness class, but we were essentially doing our own workout.
Within that, and you're assigned at your level, you're assigned your specific progression.
Yeah. And we're working towards a goal, and yeah, working through those progressions that are personal to us. So yeah, it was a good accomplishment.
That was unique to that style as well. Everyone brought a notebook to class, or was provided a notebook, so that they could write down progression, tempo. So next time they'd come into class and we'd say, okay, we're working on bent arm strength today, or straight arm strength, or whatever it was. Then, right. Hey coach, last time I was doing this, what should I do this time? Perfect, here's what you're doing this time, right? So It was unique, where you had a series of individuals from, you know, different walks of life and different ages and different fitness levels and different training ages, which is big. So how long has this person been training for is the deal. Yet all working together, all working at different progressions, and all progressively overloading and progressing. And yeah, I would say that's where this becomes an art and a science, really, from a coaching perspective. And that's where it becomes really hard for coaching, right? So, you know, this is what I say, most coaches just default to making people tired and sweaty and yelling at them to push them harder.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. I watch these trainers doing it, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. You could take someone and who hasn't been training and get them results for 6 to 8 weeks just by making them tired and sweaty, but then they're going to adapt, and then what do you do?
Right. Just throw them into a different boot camp routine.
Yeah, give them a different stimulus, but if you're not, exactly, but you're right, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's, and then they might see a little bit of progress if it's just from varying the stimulus, but are you constantly and consistently progressing them, or progressively overloading them? Are your clients, are you as a client getting results where, you know, you feel like you're getting stronger, more mobile, and better at all of these things for days, weeks, months, or even years?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think too, that's kind of the difference of, you know, the boot camp class versus progressive overloading. You know, the boot camp class is very, you know, communal. I get it. It's a great environment to be in. You're going just to get sweaty, whatnot. But if you're really looking to progress and achieve goals, there needs to be structure behind it.
Yeah, and why would you do this if you're not looking to progress and hit goals? Right?
Just to put it on the gram.
Just put it on the gram. Just to say there was, and listen, not knocking that, I'm not knocking that. Right?
Yeah, no, it helps me.
But there is, no, but I mean, there's so much more that you could be, right?
Yeah.
And going to those classes are fun sometimes and all good, but I don't know. I just feel like the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, there's something innately satisfying about that as a human being when you set your sight on something. And I'll tell you, I use like the chin up or the handstand, and when you see someone's face when they get that first chin up, and that sense of accomplishment is incredible. And I can't tell you how many notes I get from people saying, hey, I've been training here or there. It's been 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and I haven't gotten a chin up. Okay, come train with me.
Yeah. Okay.
Do it.
Speaking of which, so I was at Moxie's yesterday with my good girlfriend, Carrie. Hey girl, hey. But our server was just, because I mentioned you, I was like, oh, I have to do a live talk with DeBoer tomorrow. And then he's like, Coach DeBoer? And I was just like, me, Coach DeBoer? No, I'm not. And he did in fact do Move Strong. I forget his name. I think it was like Bryce or something.
We're gonna name drop. We're gonna name drop people.
Sorry.
Amazing. That's incredible. That's incredible.
But yeah, just a little side note there. I thought that was funny. I was like, oh yeah, I know him.
That's awesome. Awesome. That's incredible.
So let's talk about ways that you can progressively overload. Yeah. So it would be increasing reps of the same movement.
Yeah. So let's take the first thing that comes back is, Charles Paul, I don't know who was credited with saying this, but I know Charles would always say this, what gets measured gets managed. So the first thing is starting to measure what you're doing in your workouts, right? So how many reps, how many sets, what type of weight or which progression if you're doing body weight, but also I'm going to give you probably the most underutilized factor that many people don't track, which is tempo.
Tempo, I knew it. Jinx.
Right? Yeah. You can't, by the way, it doesn't work if you say it after me, right? Like, what are you thinking right now? What's on your mind right now?
Metronome.
Metronome. See? You can't say it after. But you are actually, I should have known that because that's exactly how we measure tempo is we have a metronome going. So anyone that knows that's trained under the Move Strong or the HOP90 XT, they probably have that beep going in the back of their head. So we set it at 60 beats per minute and we measure the pace at which you're going through the movement. And that's another variable because let's say you get stuck at doing 10 push-ups.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you vary that now? If you're not tracking your tempo, by the way, how do you know that you're constantly and consistently progressing? Because doing a push-up with a 10-second eccentric versus doing a 3-second eccentric, if you can't just say, oh, I did the same number of push-ups because a 10-second eccentric is way harder. You're going to do fewer reps, most likely.
Yes.
So you could be varying the tempo within your movements without realizing it. So your measuring of number of reps won't be accurate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. No, and it's actually such a good feeling to really have control through a movement. So for instance, that 10-second lower in a push-up, it's nice to gain that strength to slowly lower your body to the ground and like have that control. You
actually own that movement versus
you're not just like powering through, which I see many people do with push-ups. They're just like, and they're half range of motion push-ups. Yeah, this, which that's okay. Maybe you were taught that way, or you looked at a video on Instagram, but
it's wrong, but all good.
Okay, it's not okay. I tried to be nice. He's meaner than me, guys.
Yeah. Then you bring me to the other point, which is your range, right?
Yeah.
So most people, as they go heavy, they shorten their range, which is extremely dangerous. I used to say it's not good. Now I'm going to say it's extremely dangerous.
Right.
Shortening ranges and not training in full range and beyond full range to the extreme of what your joints are capable of. Some people would say, oh, you shouldn't do that. That's very dangerous. I'm going to say the opposite with great conviction and a lot of confidence that not training into the extreme end ranges is extremely dangerous. Because if you're not training into those end ranges, what you're doing is you're shortening ranges and you're compromising the integrity of your joints. Because at some point in your life, in the real world, where you're not in a controlled setting, you will go to that range. And if you haven't strengthened that range, load will exceed capacity and injury will occur.
Right.
That is the definition of an injury, when load exceeds capacity. And very few people, very few injuries occur in the mid-range because that's where you're strongest. And we don't often put ourselves in a position where load exceeds capacity in mid-range. It's very easy to do in the end ranges.
Right.
Right.
So for those who are doing 20 or 50 really quick push-ups, we're going to challenge you to do way less, but at a very slow and controlled tempo.
And full
10
range.
seconds lower. And this is with anything. Squats, shrimp squats. Woo.
Yeah.
What did we do? What was our phase 7? I don't know. It was like a 7-second eccentric. That with a shrimp squat, that was tough.
It was 10-second eccentric, I believe.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. You'll see.
But that's true. That shows true control through a movement.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
it's tough.
It's different when you own the movement, right? And when I see people attempting pistol squats and just bouncing through the bottom, that doesn't impress me. You know, it does. I don't want to knock that. But what really impresses me, so listen, here, I'll tell you a quick story. Ready? Okay. I remember when for years, I was trying to work on a pistol squat. And I don't know if you remember this, but I was doing it the wrong way. And at the time, mind you, I mean, I was squatting a real decent amount of weight to what I thought was full depth, which was to breaking parallel, right? So most people would say that's a full depth squat. No, it's not. A full depth squat is complete coverage. Like I'm talking ass to heel, covering your calf completely with your hamstring. That's a full range squat. And if you don't have control over your squat down to that position, it's not full range. Can't argue that, right? Anyways, decent, like double body weight squat for reps, no problem, but could not do a pistol squat. So was I not strong enough to do a pistol squat? I wouldn't say no, but maybe I wasn't, number one, strong enough in the end range, and number two, didn't have the mobility or the control or the proprioception to do it. So I was working on it, and it wasn't for lack of effort, it was for lack of understanding. And I thought at the time, I was like, I know how to do this. I'm a trainer. I know, like, I've just studied this stuff. I'm studying the wrong things, right? Once I understood this, it did not take long for me to get the pistol squat. And I helped many people achieve the pistol squat. Many people, right? And in a very short amount of time. So if you want your pistol squat, drop a note in the comments and we'll help you get it. No problem. It's easy. So anyways, so I'm training and I'm trying all these different ways and experimenting to get the pistol squat. And this older gentleman comes up to me. And by the way, this older Asian gentleman who, if you know about the in that culture, they squat, right? So he comes up to me and he says, and he had a bit of a sarcastic tone, but I didn't know how to take him. And he said to me that, oh, that's very good that you're trying to do that. That's very strong, he said. And the man was, I would guess, well into his 70s, right? And I didn't even notice him in the gym until he approached me and he said, oh, that's good, that's very strong. And I was like, yeah, I'm trying. And then immediately he dropped into a pistol squat on one leg and sat there, full control. Came up nice and slow, then did it on the other side. I was shocked. I was like, damn, this guy's a beast, right? Full range of motion, full control pistol squat. And here I am, you know, in my, I don't know how old I was, late 20s, early 30s maybe, and could not, that was beyond, I couldn't even fathom doing that, right? This man in his 70s, for sure, full control, mobility, strength, no knee issues, and is able to do that, that's what I aspire to.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
If you can do a full pistol squat on either leg and pause in the bottom with full control and come up into your 70s, you're probably living a pretty good quality of life. I would say that gentleman probably will never fall and break his hip.
Yeah. Good point. Really good point.
Right? These are things that we need to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Super important. And that's why I love our program.
But that is a huge part of our program. Isn't just to look good.
No.
It's to move really well. Because when you give people movement options and freedom and joint integrity, fitness becomes easy.
Mm-hmm.
If you focus on achieving fitness, if what you're trying to do is do whatever you can to get abs or to get in shape or whatever, without focusing on those other things first, you're going to be limited to what you can do.
Yeah.
When you can freely do a pistol squat with full control on either leg, then doing 100 regular squats becomes easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it translates, obviously. So
absolutely. One before the other. It's like people who go running, right? You don't run to get in shape. You get in shape to run.
Yes.
That's why we see so many runners with injuries.
Well, so my one client in our HOP90 signature program, she developed some bursitis on her knee, and she's really into Orange Theory, which not bashing, but yeah, so she so she had developed bursitis in her knee, and I'm like, the XT, the HOP90 program is going to be perfect for you. I'm like, you need to start doing Poliquin step-ups. Like the program it's essentially like, yeah, if you're injured, it's essentially like a rehab program, but it's also like a preventative program for preventing injuries down the road. And it's strength, mobility, like cardio. I'm like, it's going to be perfect for you. Like you won't, yeah, we'll get your knee back to health soon. But yeah, she developed some inflammation in her knees, which Orange Theory is a lot of treadmill running, I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct.
That's one theory. That's one theory. Oh. I've got another theory about them. Just
okay,
kidding.
Well, we'll have to get into that.
Yeah, that stuff drives me nuts. It does. It drives me nuts. Yeah. All good, but I just can't align myself with that. With that style of training. I can't. You need to get in shape to go there. You don't go there to get in shape, right?
Right.
That's my opinion, and I'll have that conversation with anyone. I don't care.
Yeah, for sure.
So if anyone disagrees with me, all good. Let's have the conversation, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm open to having people change my opinions. And by the way, that's because I've had my perspective and my opinion changed. That's because of not only my journey, but the journey I've seen so many people go through, right?
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
And listen, when you have a client that tells you that, or a member of our program that tells you, I haven't been able to run in 12 years because of my knee pain and my ankle pain, and now they're running, or a client that you and I work with who is now able to get into a full squat because before she couldn't even think about barely bending her knee, and is able to do stuff like that because of what we do. And here's the question. I mean, I ran into someone doing Poliquin step-ups at a commercial gym. So I got excited. I was like, hey, where did you learn that? He's like, oh, I can't wait to stop doing these. I just have to rehab my knee. And I'm like, so we should do another live on prehab versus rehab.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Got lots of live ideas cooking up.
Why not strengthen your joints and create really strong joints first? Because you're gonna have to do it at one time or another. You're either gonna have to do it first, or you're gonna have to stop doing what you're doing in order to do it to rehab your injury. One way or another, you're gonna end up doing it, right?
I like Poliquin step-ups.
Yeah, and anyone that doesn't think that they give you a good pump and a burn on your legs, you're doing them wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing them wrong, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and when you scale them correctly and properly and add weight and progressively overload, you can build knees that, like, I'm doing things with my knees now. Like, keep in mind, I had to stop squatting. I had to stop doing all of these things because of my knee pain. And now I'm doing things I never could have imagined. I'm on a quest to dunk a basketball, and I'm turning 41 years old, and I'm going to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Just
I've been seeing those videos.
Just to prove to people that I can, because when I started, I wish I had taken videos before, but I was too embarrassed. When I started rehabbing my knees and started my jump training again, I could just touch the net, the bottom of the net. Okay. And now I can dunk a tennis ball.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Okay.
So
we start a basketball team?
What's that?
Should we start a basketball team?
Well, I was going to talk to you about that. Yeah, probably.
Okay. We'll get matching t-shirts.
The Flint Tropics. No?
Oh.
And no? Anyone? Will Ferrell reference there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's too long. It's not. Let's end this. This is getting entertaining.
Yeah, guys, but if you guys have any questions about progressive overload, programming, how to progressively overload your program now or specific movements, definitely reach out to us, comment below. And
if you want to fix your knees, if you want to fix your ankles, if you want to fix your pain, if you want to do things that you never thought you could do, just drop us a note, because we're literally, those are the comments we're getting back from people that are doing our programming.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll give you a nice little free trial.
Yeah.
It's all virtual.
Deal.
Minimal equipment. All right. Well, thanks for meeting me here. I guess I'll be seeing you later.
Yeah, we'll talk later. Okay.
Okay. Have a good day, guys.
Bye.
Bye.